If you own property in Greece or you're planning to invest through the Golden Visa program, there is one small property fee that can lead to major legal problems if ignored. In today's video, we'll break down what maintenance fees actually cover, how much you'll pay, who is responsible for it, owner versus tenant, and what happens if you don't pay, including lawsuits and financial penalties. So let's get into it. We have talked about maintenance fees before, but let's do a small recap. Maintenance fees are monthly expenses for the upkeep of shared areas in apartment buildings. This includes things like elevators, stairwells, gardens, common electricity and water, or shared amenities like parking or pools. While live-in caretakers are common in other countries, such as Turkey, in Greece, they are rare. That's one reason Greek maintenance fees are relatively cheaper than in countries where the concept of property caretakers is ordinary. On average, maintenance fees in Greece ranges between 30 to 40 euros per month, especially if it doesn't include heating. Now, each apartment pays a slightly different amount based on building rules. For example, a fifth floor unit may pay more for electricity due to elevator usage. So now let's talk about who's responsible for paying. The tenant usually pays the regular monthly expense, while the owner is responsible for capital improvements such as major repairs or upgrades. Let's talk about what happens if you don't pay. Here's where it gets serious. If you ignore your payments for 5, 6, or 7 months, even by accident, the consequences escalate quickly. Most buildings are managed by professional companies. They'll start by sending a monthly statement, but after a few missed payments, they don't mess around. You might receive a formal letter of protest, but it's not required before legal action starts. The next step is court, and yes, they can file a lawsuit even if you're abroad. Chances are, if you're abroad, you'll be judged in absentia. And these lawsuits are real and rising. Last year, public discourse around foreign property owners not paying maintenance fees caused a surge in lawsuits, bank account freezes, and enforcement actions. If you lose the case, and you likely will if you ignore it, the court can freeze your Greek bank account or add court fees and opposing lawyers' expenses, often around 400 to 700 euros, and above all, damage your financial reputation. This affects how you're viewed financially, especially if you plan to buy more property, refinance, or apply for credit. To avoid all of this, even if you're not living in the apartment, make sure someone is checking your mail, receiving notices, and managing payments proactively. In Greece, these management companies will follow through. You might get a phone call or even a direct threat. If you don't pay, we're going to court, and they mean it. So to recap, maintenance fees are basic monthly costs for shared building expenses and upkeep. It's cheap compared to countries where property caretakers are customary, but ignoring it can be very costly. Legal actions such as bank account freezes and reputational harm are all very real risks. So you should always pay on time and make sure you or your property manager are staying on top of notices.